There he is. He's on. Welcome in, legends. Just got home from just your Mother's Day brekkie and dinner last night, and I was like, oh, games are going to be very, very soon. So I thought I'd quickly jump on and get cranking and chat to you guys rather than do the video, upload it, get it out there. So happy Mother's Day for all the ladies out there, and hopefully you lads, you treated your women in your world nice and well. Who we got in here? Chris, hi gang. Jono, how good's rugby league? What a crazy round so far for Terry. Let's go JBFA for Regan. And David, go to doggies. Man, that was a crazy comeback. So 20-0 at halftime, 32-20 the victors, and it all started with Stephen Crichton on their right hand side. He was absolutely freakish, and of course he still doesn't get the highest score of the game. That was led by Joe Taps, but let's quickly continue on with Crichton, because he picked up 3 line breaks, the line break assists there, the couple of try assists, the try, kicked goals really well, apart from one or two that he did struggle with there, but he was the catalyst to turn this thing around, and they didn't have much at all in that first half, and the Raiders had a disallowed try as well from Starling, which would have been nice for Supercoach, but he Crichton was spectacular and did everything on that right hand side, and I saw a few people talking about his change of Guru talk about his change of carry, ball hand and being able to fend and his speed as well. Like he got through and then he just left those guys for dead. So leadership was on show there, and that was absolutely incredible for Crichton there. And then Vil Kickout with the try and the try assist as well to go back to where he was scoring incredibly well, and 52 average for Kickout hasn't been expected at all, and it's partly come to do with the team being great, but he's been a facilitator and a really big help on that side of the ball for Burton as well, who has actually been able to take a bit of a back seat, which isn't great for fantasy and Supercoach, but is great for the team at large. And Hudson Young, 68, got another try. He's back in business. Did have 7 missed tackles though, which hurt his score from being the 70s and 80s, but a great one there. And then Joe Taps, it was all done in that first stint for him. He actually came back on and had the missed tackle and the error in that short space, missed tackle or 2 and an error in that short space of time, and which hurt him a tick, but he did end up playing the 60 minutes, and they had nothing in that second half. They scored a couple of quick tries, which brought him back on, but 72 for him was spectacular. And now it looks like I've got 3 injuries in my team, which is rough, with Nicholson going down, with Marju with his knee, and then we saw, I also forgot, so I got Yo out, Cleary out, and Catchman as well, which is really tough. So have the 5 out there, and Stafford potentially as well. What I'm getting at is Tarpany becomes a pretty interesting, important option, as that captaincy potential in round 12, but then also the fact that we're losing mids now with Couchman down as well. And then, if Horsburgh goes to Origin, we lose Yo. These types of guys, that's where I think Taps becomes pretty important there. All right, let's check out some of these comments there. Love the content, bro. Very helpful. Thank you. For Loggy, Custard Kid. Hey, yo. Thanks for all your analysis, JB. Thanks, Arthurvan. Kieran, what do you reckon will be a good score for May? Well, I'd hope that he matches everyone, but if he can get in the 80s like he has, 3-4 times, and then, the big ton as well, I'd be very, very thrilled with that. But look, to get through this game without like a 20 or 30 with an injury, I'd be very, very happy with that, especially with the outs I have next week. Stratton bought in Ponga. How good is the troll, mate? That was a crazy, crazy finish with that field goal. We know he's got it in him, but the try savers and all that kind of stuff, and for that tackle on Payne Haas, like such a big body, but Latrell is, almost matching Haas in a way, with just that little bit more athleticism, because Haas is a freak. Derby sucks. Yeah, it was a tough game for him. That 30 all though, what an incredible game. Angus says, Manly, up the wires for Stratton, Critter for David. He was incredible. Traded AJ for a stinky drink water. Yeah, well, hey, he did score a few less, but Drinky still is in absolutely everything. Yeah, the live JBFA, 60-minute taps, how good. Tapping next week, big target. Yeah, I am glad I did jump on him in this one. Definitely. All right, Maxi King, picking up 2 tries in a matter of 4 weeks now. Was incredible. You had Hosking with a 59, and King, the minutes are down a little bit. He had the 40 odd last week into the 50 this week. big tackle numbers, picked up that try to help him get the 62. Guys like him, it'd be interesting to see McInnes and AFB today, who becomes that sort of second mid priority. Third mid priority outside of Aaron Clark and Joe Tarpany. And Clark was spectacular again, which we'll get to shortly. And Hosking with that try played 62 minutes in the middle with Horsburgh out, and it does look like now if Nicholson is down, if it is syndesmosis for him, then Hosking will go back on that edge and he becomes a really big target again after a cracking start. We know what he can do out there. Zach Docker-Clay option over Origin if Watson is out for Origin. Yes, but no. Yes, because he'll play those major bye weeks, but no, because you've probably got someone else who can do that. And now, look, with Mamazelis going down, I had this theory before Mamo went down, so maybe that changes things a little bit. But I also think that you've got guys like Riley Smith that can help in 12. If you don't have anyone for round 12, then I think you could get Zach, and that would work out okay. Definitely. I did see that footage of the Penrith trainer spraying the ball with water. He gave it to him. It was just like gushing. That was wild. Daniel brought in C and K last week. Very interesting. Okay, so Fogarty with the 57, the 2 try assists. It's just like clockwork for him, isn't it, at the moment? The way that he's playing and the way he's scoring. So good to get back to a good score after the 48. Probably could have been a bit higher, especially the way this was playing out in the first half. But then, unfortunately, with the no try scoring from them and the team just getting points put on them for fun, and he got run over once or twice there by a couple of good plays on that left, then slowed him down a bit. As much as this one killed me for fantasy, Karaz, watching him in full flight, it's a marvel. He's incredible. The try, the 12 tackle breaks and 2 offloads there. He is so hard to stop, especially, like we saw with Crichton there, you get him one-on-one with his defender. Similar with Karaz, they can burn him with speed, but their strength and agility as well. So Karaz 57, a great pickup last week and also this week as well. Thankfully, because I was looking at him getting like a mid-30s to 40 score. And that try there was like a 23, 24 point play. So that was absolutely massive there. And probably still a good buy, but someone mentioned in the private group there that the combination between him and Critter, how good would that be in Origin? And I really like that. I think that's really, really cool. Up the 1, New Zealand Warriors. Yeah, C&K did well. What do we do with Leo Thompson? Very frustrating. You hold definitely and hope that he just bounces back because he's the worst scorer of the year and he should be fine. I brought Nicholson for Brimwell, my head-to-head team. Lovely stuff, yeah. Sometimes. This game never ceases to amaze. And it turns around and bites you in the butt very regularly, especially on the last play with a minute to go. The game's done. To lose Nicholson is very, very sad given how well he's been playing. This game didn't favour him with no tackles in the first half. And then second half, there was lots of tackles, but it was also them just getting hammered and lots of standing behind the sticks. So Starling 56 with the try assist was great. Almost had the try himself. Big tackle numbers. Good to see him back in the good books. And I mentioned him being a hold, and that was repaid. So I hope that anyone who does own, which isn't a lot, where the faith was repaid there. Reid Marnie with 60 tackles, putting his hand up for Origin as well. We'll see how that one plays out with Harry Grant. And Nicholson, if he is out with syndesmosis, we'll have to sell. If he is okay, and even if he was to miss 1 week, I would hold him personally because I think that he's pumping out keeper numbers, and I think that's enough for you to hold him and keep strong. You got Matt Burton with the 38 there. He's just a frustrating watch at the moment. As I said, I feel like he is taking a bit of a backseat to kick out, and that's enough for me to stay away from Matty right now. He did pick up the try assist, which helped, but not scoring well enough, averaging 36.6 for the year with the injury game, but he hasn't broken out yet. And I think with Burton, you can wait. And if you jump the gun early, I really hope he does bounce back for you, but I am slightly worried the way that things are going right now. So Timoko with 35 there for him, bit of a downer week for him and KO weeks after the massive, 80 last week for KO. Tracy as well, a bit more of a back to the pack week. Jamin Salmon got that try and was speaking to the crowd lovely, as we know. The love-hate relationship with this club, or probably more hate at this point. And to finish this one off was a bit of an up and down game for me. I was very happy with the trade-in of Tarpany. And then we had Nicholson, 41, injury as well, which I didn't realise till after. I was out at, where was I? Yeah, just about to go to dinner, I think, at this point, like sort of prepping for that. In the last 5 minutes, I was like, oh, the game's done. And then didn't realise, I saw later, I was like, oh, 79 minutes, what the hell happened there? So that was tough in hindsight. And then Tamale with the 24 in this one. Still had 7 tackle breaks and an offload. To get 24 is a bit rough. Neg 6 in there. Wasn't too crazy, but as we know, he's had 3 of these games now, and then all the rest have been 40 plus. So you play him for the 60s and the 50s, you got to cop, I think, the 24s on the other side. So a bit annoying, but we live and we learn. Now, guys, we're actually kicking off the 4-week challenge today. After this video, my health and fitness challenge, I've got 10 people in the group now, so super excited for that. I'm heading to the gym before the games, going to do my weigh-in, get my first session in. So if you are interested in that, information is in the description. $50 for 4 weeks. I'll help you get set up. Everyone's chatting in the group, helping each other be accountable and being awesome. So that's there. Private group stuff down there as well, guys. $30 for the rest of the season. Get the one-on-one help. Get the legends in there. The WhatsApp, the game day chat. It's awesome. And the free Facebook group is down there in the description as well. So just a massive help for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. If you want to go the extra mile, if you want to work on your fitness with me, I've been a PT for 7 years. We'll sort you out there. Dragons and Warriors. Let's get into a couple of comments first. Hosking taking on Nicholson's work and now probably his spot. Yeah, rough. Potentially. Have you had a look at hooker options for 15 and 18 with Smith and Clark only playing 12? I don't want to look at it, to be honest. I know there's very, very limited, and I'm not going to make that decision until we get closer. With what, Mamo out for near 6 weeks, he could be back at that time. We could be buying, but that's a really frustrating one with Mamo there on that one. I think we look at it a little bit later, Custard, and decide probably, have a look in round 13, 14, because I don't want to bring in a hooker for now. We're all in the same boat. None of us are sitting there really with an option for that week. So let's just avoid it until round 13 and think about it then. You can have a look, but it doesn't really help you now. You're not going to bring them in. Do you think I should get 2 of us to check? No. Stratton says no. Can you turn up mic volume a bit? Jamie. Okay. See what it's like on here. It's weird for live. It's like so loud on normal YouTube. Maybe I'll try and talk a bit louder too. Hey, there we go. When's the 4-week challenge start? Could be in. It starts today if you want to get in. Can start for you tomorrow if you want to, if you got things on today and you want to sort that out tomorrow, that's cool. What to do with Best? I think he's going to do well, so hold on. Thoughts on buying Kickow? He's fine, averaging 52, doing a good job. So he could definitely be the guy for you. And now that we've got Preston out, we've got potentially Nicholson out, I think he can definitely do a job. And I'm going to have to gain another either center or edge now that Lucas is now that Nicholson is potentially out. Hey Jamie, how much do you bench? Not a lot now. I don't train a heap, which is why I'm doing this challenge myself, and that's why I'm bringing people along. Depends what you want to know, mate. Is it for 8? Is it for 1? Is it for 3? I don't bench for 1 anymore, but not that I ever really did. 3 is a cool number there. I'm not in it to hurt myself, but you can ask. It's not. I love how that's just the standard question that people get if you train. It's like, oh, how much do you bench? It's always in that tone. It's funny. So when I read that strat, that's exactly how I read it in my head. Up the wires, yes sir. Okay, Aaron Clark, what a freak, man. My goodness, 52 tackles, 177 meters. This is almost better than Isaiah Yeo territory for those base stats. And we've seen Isaiah Yeo sit in sort of the low 40s and up there in the 140, 150, 170 meters. And Clark is doing that in lesser time for this short this stretch of time. Incredible. He's deserving it. He's playing incredibly well, and that's what we saw a few weeks ago. It was like, nah, he's playing too good for them to not keep him on the park, and the team's winning and doing a great job. And him and Barnett have really taken a leap this last 3 to 4 weeks. Yes, without Fisher Harris, but I think that Barney's just warming into the season, and both of those guys become an interesting option for round 12. And with Barney covering mid and edge, don't think he makes Origin, so he becomes an option as well now that he's turned around that form a bit and doing a good job. How you doing, Sahan? How's everyone's scores going so far this week? It's mine's hard to work out with the 3 loops. I think one's counting at the moment, but I only just got home, so I have to check on the computer. Sometimes it shows your actual score, and on the phone it, with the loopers, and on the phone it doesn't. But yeah, those two are spectacular, and I think that Clark's playing too well not to be picked, but he'll be well over 700k, and Barney comes in as an option very, very shortly. Now, Chansey boy, 67 in 80 minutes. Yeah, congrats to the fellow that did pick him up. That was a great score with offloads, with tackle breaks, with 13 tackles for a fullback. Very impressive. And some decent scores in this game. Fair few 50 plus. Hamish Stewart ended up with 50 in 44 minutes, and maybe a couple more minutes with Couchman going down. But yeah, he was awesome. Suai was 64. DeBellin was 60 in 48 minutes. That's nice. Of course, I sell Gutho in Supercoach and Purdue to make some upgrades, and I think I would have been better not selling. That's how it works, right? Egan with 57 with the try in the end. What a freak. He just loves finding the try line. And if Couchman's out, I think we probably see Egan through the middle a little bit more, with Gula out as well. So yeah, I wonder how this is going to play out. He ended up off the bench, and I saw 1 to 17. I was like, oh, sweet. And then, yeah, it turns out, 1 to 17, but he was switched to the bench. So I was like, I've got to look into that a bit more sometimes, even when you're busy. I was out at dinner. 1 to 17. Cool, they're in the 17, but they've switched around, which is stuff. I think I'm scoring 9-17 with Hines made Garrick left. That's impressive. Take Valmarga's score, definitely, Kieran. On 8-9-7 with May, Munster, and Jazz. Yeah, come on, May. The May skipper. Let's do it. Congrats to Metcalf. The turnaround this season's been spectacular for him. Averaging 52 now is just wild. So, yeah, it turns out we just need to hold him all year, and he would repay the faith, and more than repay the faith. He's going to be up over 200k, well over 200k after this week. So shout out to Luke. I love watching him play. He just wasn't there at the start of the season, and it was luck that he was scoring well, or scoring anything really in the first few games. Just wasn't himself, and then he's really turned it on the last month or so, and congrats to him. It's been awesome to watch. Luciano with 53, Wade Egan 50, so got the 73 minutes, back to a good score, thankfully. I was a bit worried about him, but that's good to see. Hamish Stewart with 50 in the 44, as we said, a great pickup for anyone who did. Val Holmes 48, we have Valmarga 45 and 39 with a line break, so cracking work, and yes, take that loop. Halasima 40 in the 80s, so just all in base. It's, fine. He makes some cash. If you played him, not the worst pick at all. I'm sitting there with a few low scores, not too bad, but Nicholson 41, and then 20s from Couchman, who's owned by a lot, clearly, and Tamale as well, and then Greg. So the rest of the scores have been pretty good. We'll see how today goes. King Tongia. 32 for him, try saver and a try assist. It was a slow start. I think it was neg 1 in 26 minutes. So that really improved from that point on, which was great. And 32 gets the cash rolling again after the 47. He'll be up near 290 or so after that. And be nice to see him keep this spot. They almost won this game, so hopefully he can keep it. Flanagan was definitely running the show with Lycan just a few kick meters there for 2 points. Right on 60, that's beautiful. Exactly what we needed. Every player has scored 50 plus for me apart from Tongia and KPP. That's awesome. I'm a little bit worried about trades. We'll speak about that in my round results video, given now it's looking like I've got heap out. I have 17 left as well. And we need to look at it as probably more of a, are we getting to a point where we just have to trade for injuries? And I think that might be close, given what we saw with AJ Brimson this week. Like, I traded a player that's fit out. Even if they frustrate you, you might have to hold for further weeks, because there are going to be weeks like this where you are triple trading, and then you have to triple trade the next week because of injuries. So it can be tough sometimes, and how that plays out. There's a straight up split from Cook and Little this week, which I found interesting as well with the Couchman injury. Pacifica Tonga runs a hard line, doesn't he? He's good fun to watch. Along with Couchman, that's sad. The over 1 ppm dude, gone. All right, last one. What a game this was. 30 all. It was back and forth. The Panthers would get a 2-try lead, and then the Cowboys would run it back. And thankfully, I personally owned the 2 best scorers in this game. And thank you, Isaiah Yo, for being a legend. getting us a lovely score before we probably sell you. And what we learnt yesterday was that we should see, well, apparently all the Origin stars from Panthers will not back up in round 16. So when they have to fly to New Zealand, they won't go. Just too hard, logistically for that one. So that means that 11, 12, 15, 16, definitely, maybe some reduced minutes or whatever in 13, that these guys will miss. So 4 of the next 6 with a backup game in there makes it very, very tough to hold Yo and Cleary. But with the issues in my side with injuries, maybe one of them's a hold, one of them's a sell. And thank you to both of you guys for giving me that awesome score in this one. The full 90 minutes, Faizay Yo, freak, we know that. But to have 3 offloads and 4 tackle breaks in this one was beautiful. Running there at the back end of that game, picking up those couple of offloads and TBs. So up to a 61 average, 3 and a bit points under what we bought him for at the start or what we started with him. So we've got him every game. That part we can't complain about. He gets through unscathed, and that's the big reason for buying him. So yeah, a big repay the faith game. Cleary was good without try assists, 807 kick meters, a couple of forced dropouts. For him to have no try assists and tries again and get 75, the base stat king sometimes. Blaze Talangi dominated 4 try assists and a try, so it was all down that left-hand side. Unfortunately, not off Cleary's boot, given I captained him in Supercoach this week, and he scored a lower one. Usually you go higher in Supercoach, but because he had no attacking stats, it was all, you don't get 26 points in kick meters in Supercoach, so that was a bit tough. But Papali'i 72 for him. With the try, he played the full game, and with Sorensen now, they've finally entrusted him over the last few weeks. It looks like they've been talking him up as well. To get that 72 was awesome, and he becomes a little bit interesting come round 13, given his price point. But yeah, a few things to think about. Liam Martin will be out. Sorensen, how long does Pup keep going? Does he go back to the bench? That kind of stuff comes into our mind. Vailea, 65, Bateman, 63. So some nice scores here and expected in the full 90 minutes. Everyone's just listening, cool. Talking through their scores, that's good. You guys go nuts. 125 on Mother's Day. How good is that? At 12:40 p.m. Thanks, legends. You are the best. Okay, Blaze Talangi, 4 try assists and a try. Still under 60. It's pretty wild. 6 missed tackles, an error. But 46 run meters, 66 kick meters. And I think he got two assists off kicks and 2 off a pass and an offload. So wild. 4 try assists, a try, 2 line break assists, 3 offloads, and still only 58. That's, imagine Cleary got that. 160. Kenny back in business. Martin, what about that hit in extra time? That was wild. Robson, Dearden, 50 and 49 for those 2. And Nanai as well. Those 3 have had a much better month or so, which has been awesome for the Cowboys. Shame they couldn't come away with the victory here, and I think they stuffed up a few plays. So did Mitch Kenny, not going to Cleary there. I think, was it in the first part of extra time or whatever it was? Yeah, bit of a mistake. Why do the teams muddle this up? And then the one that he does get back to Cleary, he just floats it back 15 meters. Of course he's going to get charged down there. Maybe the theory is just to go short, back 5-6 meters, get a quick ball, bang, and kick it rather than the long floater. It seems to be the long floater. Almost the players are quicker than that floating pass. But yeah, interesting situation, the whole drop goal at the end of the game stuff. Purdue 48 was great. Lindsay Smith 48 and 60, a bit low for him given Yo went so high. But Garner, 2 tries for him, 67 minutes. I think it was left and right in the end. Came off for Jenkins and came back on. So that was interesting. Purdue with a 48 line break, couple of line break assists and a try. So a great game for him with 2 turnover tackles. If you played him, if you held on, awesome. If you sold, fair enough as well. Not the end of the world. Scoring wise, he had Robert Darby there with 5 errors, 3 missed tackles, and still got 45. So a wild game for him with 2 line breaks and a try. And a lot of people are going, ooh, not good from him. Drinky was the big one here, 44, had 5 goals, 2 assists, a line break and a line break assist. And only 44 was tough, but he was on a fairly low score. And then that line break assist really, really helped him out. getting the goals on the end of it was great, and he kicked all, made 5, or they scored 5 tries, 6, all 30, I believe, Good stuff for Drinky there in a low game against Panthers. We know they can make it tough on fullbacks, but they are leaking points in the moment. So for Drinky to get 44 after the back-to-back 70s, I'm personally happy. Owners not too stressed either way as well, and not injured, so that's big. What about To'o on the return, 37, and Jenkins the 36 in 40 minutes? How good is that? What do we got? How long's Couchman out for? They're all going for scans apparently, so that's not good. Glyphix, sir, you are the GOAT. Thank you for the intel. Vids are so helpful. I appreciate that, mate. You're a good man. Hopped on Ice Pap last week, through it last night. Hell yeah. Yes, the Couchman, we're not sure yet. Just got in starting from the start. Let's go, Butters. Couch should have kicked in 1, correct. I agree. Jenkins, 36 and 40 with the try. What about him making 16 tackles? Just coming on and doing the business. And we know that when he gets to tackle, his PPM's awesome. Centers, back row, wherever they're going to put him here. Isaac Tungo, 33 in 73, 16 tackles, 5 tackle breaks. Did go off that little bit early in this one. Is that right? I can't remember. Edwards, 32, full game, pretty gross. So no assists or tries for Edwards or Cleary there. Yeah, it's definitely, there's such an up and down team right now. Murray Talangi with 29. What else is there to say? I think that's it on the 3 games. I've got Golden State Warriors to watch. I've got the gym to do and then games to watch as well. So I might be watching a little bit on delay. We'll get final team list in 20 minutes, which will be good fun. But we'll leave it there, guys. Let me know if you like this. That didn't try was special. Yeah, that's the one we're going to go back and watch again. So cool. I'll get all that done. Let me know if this worked for you guys. Maybe, every couple of weeks I'll jump on a weekend just to make it easier and for myself and see how these little updates go, just to see how we all are on the weekend when we've got a bit of time and whatever else. So I think we're going to leave it there, legends. Thanks so much for jumping on, and I hope you have a cracking rest of your Mother's Day. Enjoy the games, and hopefully we all make ranks, because I'm sitting another couple thousand